and it's time to get some tunes going, okay?
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Donald Kent Funky Donkey Comic Book Hour, where all the hip cats come together to check out some groovy comic book art. Oh, yeah.
Check me out. So, our main character here is going up against some anti-tank artillery, and he transforms his costume into a more high-tech mode here. This is an idea that I added to the script and came up with this funky donkey design. So yeah, more comic book goodness. All right, so let's go. It's been a little while since I've done some inking for y'all. So the reason is that I had to lay out the next issue. And the layout process, hold on, is pretty complex. It takes a long time to, transform a script into art and figure out the flow of the story. This writer, he has a lot of detail. He puts a lot of detail into his story, and so it's challenging to make sure that all the things that he asked for are in the frame. I mean, this is, what is this, a 10 by 4 foot inch frame, and showing, a building on fire with, firefighters and the smoke and the flame and the blah 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 blah. It's a lot of content to put in a really small space, and leave room for word balloons and sound effects. So there's really a lot involved in being a comic book illustrator, or as they like to say in academia, a sequential artist. So, maybe I should just call myself a sequential artist. It sounds pretty high class. So, yeah. Some years ago, there was a kind of push to get comics into the classroom. And I was one of the, I guess, forerunners of that movement. Not under my current name, not under the name that you know me by, but it's not the kind of thing that you get credit for. It's just, there weren't really any people, there were so few people doing it that you reach out to each other like, hey, I like your book, or I like your series, or this or that thing, and here's my paper on this matter, and here's my research, and let's kind of collaborate, or not necessarily collaborate, but let's work together towards this common goal of using sequential art and comics in the classroom as a teaching tool. So I actually did my master's degree on the topic. It's pretty interesting. I met in my research. I met a guy who is a neurological scientist. I'm trying to remember what university he worked for. I think Harvard, actually. And I guess it turns out he's kind of a controversial guy in his field. He's got certain theories, something. But how I discovered him actually was because I was looking up the way the brain functions in processing pictures and words to create meaning. And I, whatever the algorithm took me to him. Hey, let me say hi to my channel. You can pick whatever pronouns you want. Zamarfi is here. Oh, hello. Great to have ya. Good to have you here. How did you discover my channel, Z Murphy? I would love to know. There's I did an interview recently. Andreas Johansson. He's Swedish content developer. He does a really funky series of short videos called that essentially you could call it Hey Buddy. It's like the Hey Buddy series. He starts off every show by saying Hey Buddy, and then he gives some nice white pilling, moralizing commentary on our cause and such, and it's really neat. And so he and I did a show. It turns out he's actually kind of a big dog in the movement, and I didn't actually quite know that. So, like, long story short, we did the show. I shot Mark Collette a link, and he, posted it like, "Hey, go check out Donald Kent's show, interview with Andreas, da da." And then bang, I'm getting like all these new subscribers and new guests and new friends, and it's just been really, really cool and fun. So like after this show, if you want to see a very, very good interview, I would look up the Hey Buddy Andreas Johansson interview. It's quite excellent. My channel says plus you can stream at 1080. I don't know what you mean by 1080. You didn't know Andreas did Nordic Front? I did not. No, I did not. So every once in a while, this kind of thing happens, whereas it seems like you didn't know about Joe Schmo? How could you not know about Joe Schmo? And how come they don't know about me? Well, maybe I'll ask that question, It's like, you can't know everything. I've gotten in tons of conversations with lots of friends in our movement, and they'll talk about this guy or that guy, and I'll say, oh, who's he? And oh, well, he does the TRS, or he's on this, or Nordic Frontier, or something. And they're like, oh, cool, nice. I'll look it up, I'll check it out, and you expand your knowledge on that. But like, I don't sit around 24 hours a day watching every single episode of every single show in the movement. So cut me some slack. And I know you're not giving me any trouble, but it's, live in a bubble. Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. I thought we were friends. Scroll up. What is the scroll up for? I missed something. Oh, wow. Holy crap, there's a bunch of guys here. Great to see a Hippocratic Oath. Hey, someone who also live streams thinks you get bigger exposure numbers if you use YouTube's Go Live feature. Well, that's what I'm doing, versus StreamYard, etc. I was scrolling on YouTube Lives and also stopped to say hi. Cool. That's very nice. So I never heard of 1080, though. I don't know what that is. Z says, much respect for drawing traditionally. It's much harder than digital, but it's rewarding. See, that is the whole thing, dude. I assume do you do comic book illustration? I actually used to use like almost exclusively a brush, and I mean, of course, these days I use those as kind of like Japanese brush markers, just they're more efficient and the other ways to more time consuming, blah blah blah. But I cannot like get into digital. I just like drawing on a glass plate on a screen of a computer. It's like, I feel it's like eating food after like anesthetizing your tongue or something. It like takes all the texture out of it. It's no longer visceral. You know what I mean? You don't have there's it's not you don't have the immediacy of the feeling of it. Granted, digital can do probably everything and more that organic can do, and I feel that like one day in the future I have to like force myself to go digital. There's so many benefits in terms of like you know just you just export the file. It's all this and that, and it's whatever. Anyway, here I am, stuck in the caveman days of comic book illustration. Doodle Squatch is here. Get out of town. All right, it's good to have you here, Squatch. We just had a Squatch sighting in the chat. Let's see, my channel. This guy is one kimono away from those Japanese Zen letter painters in a monastery. If you only knew, you guys know I studied Zen Buddhism in Japan and Sumie. So like I like literally, you know, like I have all kinds of like, Oriental painting and art supplies, and I taught Chinese landscape painting. I lived in Asia 5 years. Like that's a huge part of who I was in the past. Anyway, what do we got here? Zamarfi says, I don't unfortunately, but I draw for like 2 or 3 years. It's just that nowadays I kind of give up on it. It's a hard road, man. I mean, I admire people that do this. I envy people that make a living from this. It's weird how like the comics industry is in like horrible state right now because of like, just for example, my buddy John Della Rose posted something on Twitter. He's a big guy in the comics gate scene, and I illustrated one of his graphic novels. Anyway, he was sharing a comics cover that essentially was, I don't know how to put it, like two girls, and one girl was trying to kiss the other, and the one girl was saying, "Oh, I'm not LGBT," and then the one trying to kiss her is saying, "Oh, you will be after I'm through with you," or something like this. And it's like openly grooming kids for LGBT, very like openly. It's insane. Like the state of the comics industry is just pure shit. And I mean, it's not any different, I guess, really from Disney and like all the rest of the shit that's going on out there. But fuck, man, I mean, damn, like it's just this shit just drives me out of my mind. So like, this is a type of culture war, that I'm in, and I'm fortunate that like this particular job is a paying job, and I'm buddies with the guys in the project, and it's blah blah blah. This is a really sweet deal, a very fortunate thing to be a part of this. When it's done, I'll go back to doing my own work. Maybe I could get your input on something. If you guys know the Justice Report, Jack McCracken. It's associated with NJP. The Justice Report is a website that reports what the mainstream media will not report on violent crime against whites, and that's quite a lot of stories that come out that are not, that are suppressed, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm buds with Jack, who is an editor, and he and I just discussed, doing a web comic. I brought this up on my show a bunch of times, and he said that we've got the budget for it. Like, we would love to have you do a weekly web comic on the Justice Report website. And so you can only imagine my eyes is like lit up like a pinball machine. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this is a dream come true. I would love to do that. But then comes the question of, okay, well, what would the story be? Like, what kind of a story? So I want to get your impression. What kind of comic stories would you like to, see, that would make you go back weekly and enjoy it. And, and then eventually I would put the pages together and sell it as like comic books or graphic novels, probably t-shirts and stuff as well. Let me read some replies. Yes, it's a lot more easier to draw digitally. That's why most of the people start on a graphic tablet nowadays, but there are some things that you can learn without doing that. The thing is, it is mainstream, so there is no more holding back anymore, man. Yeah, it's like there's no accountability. The only way to sort of stop it is just to not buy it. But even so, somehow there's always fucking money for that shit. There's always like Disney is putting out flop after flop, and we're talking, you know, fuck, dude, like hundreds of millions of dollars that are going in the shitter because they're doing all these like girl power, cultural Marxist training shit, like all that garbage, and nobody wants it, nobody likes it, even the actress who plays Miss Marvel, she's like, I don't need any 40-year-old white man telling me what he thinks about the movie, like this kind of shit, And this is openly anti-white shit, right? The usual. She's just highly dislikable, but whatever, that's its own thing. So, like Comics Gates and guys like me, we're out here, fighting the good fight and producing different types of content that is not Marxist, that isn't anti-white, that isn't pedo-friendly and shit, like the garbage that you're seeing all the time now. That's some sick-ass shit. Who could ever have thought the world would come to this? Like, what the fuck is going on, Stop the planet, I want to get off. Oh, speaking of which, I've been coming across a lot of interesting... Get ready for a major segue here. Very interesting channels on YouTube about how to escape the reincarnation cycle. And like I know that like as soon as I say something like that, I've already turned off like a certain amount of viewers, but it's something I'm deeply interested in. So I will be getting off this earth at some point. And I might come back to help, but I don't know, man. I've been through a lot of hell in this lifetime. Doodle Squad says ESGs are meant to offset any loss in revenue. I don't know what ESG stands for, so enlighten me. They're still losing money though. Yeah. Z Murphy says it will be cool, but very controversial due to today's people being absolutely freaking unable to take anything that doesn't match their perspective. It's sad because critique sometimes works a lot better. I mean, it's kind of, I would pretty much say that like the entertainment industry is split right down the middle in terms of like you have these like, insane wackadoos that are like culture police, that come out with these like, like, oh, shut down this person or try to hurt this person or get them fired, or you know what I'm talking about, the crazy leftoids, and then the rest of us. And like I'm very far right in my politics, but so like I don't think I would like really fit in with Comicsgate because those guys are not as far right as I am. I love them, like I admire them, and we're really on the same team, regardless of the fact that they don't quite understand that. But what am I saying here? So it's sort of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend as well. You know what I mean? Like there's a bit of that, So we'll see how it goes. But in the end, it's really you fight with your dollar. Like when the fans themselves become the marketing force, and get the word out on things, and that they support creators that are making work that's not all this like cultural Marxism. That's how we win, honestly. And what it does is it kind of puts the power in the hands of the fans, and I love that. I think that's awesome. So because like the left can just continue to throw billions of dollars into the shitter, and who cares? We're not going to their party. We're over here. We're having our own good time with our own creators, and enjoying our own stories and mythologies and all the cool stuff that is comics. Um, um, couldn't have said it better. All right, thanks, bro. Awesome sauce. Mm. Yeah, I did the book with John Delarose. We did Dynamite Thor, and halfway through the campaign, the left went out of their way. They contacted what's it called, Kickstarter, and complained like that these guys are Nazis, and shut them down. And then what do you call it? Kickstarter shadow banned our campaign, and so because it couldn't be found in their search engine, it severely cut back on our marketing. And as a result, the financing for the project flopped. So I lost a lot of money on that. I mean, I didn't pay money, I didn't like spend money, but I put a lot of time into, making the book. So, and I was expecting to make a good penny from that. And so the shit's real. Like, the shit's fucking real. Just like my curse words. Um, I got a thing about swearing. Like, I feel it's like I know I shouldn't, but at the same time I'm like, I think it's healthy, It's like, let me get my frustrations out, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I try not to swear? Probably would make this channel more sort of. I mean, this channel's not for kids, so I'm not trying to make, let's make this channel kid friendly. That's not my goal. Um, but I don't know. Do you think I should endeavor to stop swearing on these shows? And don't say fuck no, okay? Hey, Mac is back. Yes. Hey, Donald, I heard swearing can make you lose chi. Woo! Holy shucks, that's not cool. That's not a good thing. I'm. There's karma. There's a karma to swearing. I mean, I should be maybe a little conscious of that, I suppose. Marfy says, on another note, man, I like the style. I find it very difficult, but it looks clean, and dang it, the folds are amazing. Ah, that's nice. Hey, since you're new to this channel, I'm gonna back out and give you a little art show with the other pages. So hang tight, my man. It's coming at you. So for starters, this is the cover art of the book. Okay, so just like an overall bazang, you've got your main character, got some key figures in here. This clown world character, especially how he's breaking the fourth wall and giving the okay symbol, it's alluding to the fact that there's a lot of internet meme culture in here. These are web girls. These girls, you can see with the 6 arms. What's a web girl? Those kind of like e-thoughts, right? This is Grug. You guys remember the Grug meme? The black block. If you guys are J-pilled, you're gonna know what a black block represents. There's just a bunch of esoteric symbolism throughout the whole story. This is how many pages I have so far in the story, which I don't know if you can tell, like quite how many there are. Here's a cool page. I actually need this page because I'm gonna be using this costume design a bit, so I'm gonna pull that out. Un momento. Demon Rat. This character is called Demon Rat. So that's like, you've heard the joke how a Democrat, they call them Demon Rats because they kind of like screw around. Reptilians, you know, the whole UFO lore, ancient aliens thing. This guy is Capital Pig, so you know he owns both the Democrat and Republican Party. There's Apollonians in here. This page is upside down. You got some cool action scenes going down. Oh God, yeah, there's tons of Apollonian stuff in here. Yeah, this is like an Apollonian friendly book, actually. Oops, there's an empty page. That's exciting. We got some Russian action going on here with their super soldier in Russia. You know, that's a hot topic, and he's smashing tanks and shit. And then you've got this cool giant robot. How can you gotta have a giant robot, man? Get out of town. So they're trying to take him down. No way, Jose. So there's some a lot of badass action going down here, you mofos. Does the comic have a title yet? I am waiting on the producer to divulge certain things, just because like there's a marketing campaign that they have in mind, and I kind of don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much this early. So you understand what I'm saying? So like I'm not actually gonna say the title of the book yet. I have like another, including this, 4 issues just to draw still. You know, so this is going to be quite a large graphic novel. And then when it's released, I'll give you guys a little teaser that you can only get on Donald Kent Art. And that is that this will be coupled with 3D animation. How you like them apples, huh? Imagine these characters in 3D animation. So this isn't just your normal, you know, Comicsgate project. There's something much bigger behind here. But I'm sorry you're gonna have to wait until the big reveal. So back to work. Maybe I better shut up. All right, let's get some work done here. That'll be sick. Yeah, man, dude. I mean, I've seen it already because like I'm the guy that designed the entire universe. There's, frick, man, how many characters are in this universe? I don't know, somewhere like 70 different characters, like superheroes and supervillains. You know, and that's all been done. So there'll be like in Marvel Comics, there's a whole sort of world, right? Sort of a universe, you know. And they have those kind of Marvel Universe books where you can see, you know, kind of like a dictionary or a catalog of all the characters. And it has like the name and their powers and, you know, something about them. So like we've already done that. Like that's already in the can. And that'll be a part of the graphic novel when it comes out. People will, you know, this sort of bonus material, I suppose. Oh yeah. I love this like sort of 60s quasi-futuristic psychedelic music. And this is actually from Italy. It's this one here. It's like cheesy fun, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know actually if you guys can actually hear the music, but anyway, I'm jiving over here. Let's see, won't work with an animation studio for that. Wait, oh, you work with, sorry. I don't do the animation. We've got a guy. So we've got a guy, and he's actually really well known in the, I guess, far right, if you will. He's his work has appeared on videos by certain well-known characters in our culture and influencers. There's not a ton of guys out there that do that, so I suppose you could probably figure that out. But anyway, I will be keeping my lips sealed on the matter. Um, Evening to Rory Herbert. Welcome, Rory Herbert. What's shaking, man? How did you find? I feel like you've been on this. Yeah, of course you've been. I recognize you, Rory. What's going on? Did you like my interview with Andrea Johansson the other night? What'd you think? I thought it was a big hit. I think largely I have to thank Mark Collette for, like, I just shot him a quick link saying, hey, doing this show, and like he popped it out on his Telegram, and then Zoom. I got like all kinds of people, in the chat and stuff. So it was a good show. Anyway, there you go. And now you know. Maybe I can turn the music up for you guys. Didn't you work on storyboards for film? Yes, I've probably mentioned that previously. In the city where I live, I'm actually a professional. I'm listed. Excuse me. I'm listed as a professional storyboard artist for film. So if let's say a Hollywood film company comes to town and they want to hire a local guy, to do that work, then I'd get the call. I haven't done a ton of work in that field, but it's fun. I love it. It's something I'm really into. Storyboard for film and comics are like, they're brother and sister. Like, they're completely connected, as you can imagine, right? Oops. The difference, of course, is like the camera movements. Zoom in, zoom out, pan. I'll sit down with the director, and he'll have the script in hand, and then say, okay, this is in this scene, the main character arrives, and this happens and that happens, da da da, and so I'll visualize it and then draw it. And since he's sitting there with me, he can be like, yeah, that's exactly how I want it, or could you make it more this or more that? So it's a very, very cool process. It's super fun. So like the one guy that I work with the most does horror movies that are like, they're kind of like B horror movies that go straight to video or DVD or whatever. But believe it or not, like, those guys get money. Like, there's such a following in that market that dude gets money, and I'm like, I'm happy to take the money as well. So it's personally, I'm not like a B horror movie guy. I mean, I think there's probably some good ones out there that are fun, but I'm more of the guy that would want to do a serious film. If I ever had. I've been wanting to work with people on film for ages, on my own ideas and stuff. But it's very, very hard. I mean, film is one of the hardest mediums to do. So that's, like, I don't know if you guys know Lord Wolfshield. He's one of the founding members of the White Art Collective. And he's working on a big film right now. He's got some great cast. Got some budding actors in our sphere. Alma Lahar being one of them. And Alma Lahar is a phenomenal musician, singer, performer. He and I performed at the first White Art Collective Music Festival, which was frankly, one of the highlights of my life. You know, went on a road trip with my drummer and, did all my original music at this show. And of course, there were, many members from the White Art Collective there. It was an all-day event, lots of incredible performances. Hyrith and Jeff Winston, Candro, Imminent Rain. It was just extraordinary. People like Emily Yukis were there. Got to meet her. Hung out with Josh Neal a lot. Just a bunch of influencers. Antelope Hill was there. Koch Certified was there. It was just phenomenal. I'm gushing. I can't say enough about it. I'm going, hey, Benjito is here. How are we doing, Benjito? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the crew. Hippocratic Oath. Oh, okay, hold on here. I'm going to read some comments. Didn't you work? Yes. Did you see Andrea's short clip of his trip to the ski slopes? Crazy stuff. Where the black people are fighting. Is that the one? The interview with Andrea Johansson was great. When he started getting esoteric about our origins, I was hoping he would keep talking, but that's probably a whole. Oh, we're gonna do more. Like he and I, after the show, said, okay, we got to figure out how to collaborate. So that's not the end of. You haven't seen the last of us. So let's see. The new AIs do text to video movies are going to be cheap to make. Yeah, I just was getting into that last night, talking to a friend about it. Mac says, I wish I could do that for horror movies. So, yeah, geez, maybe I should start getting into AI movie making. That's, geez, man, wow. Because I have a friend who I've been, just sort of consulting with on his film project. And he was super frustrated with the process that, all this stuff. It's very hard to do. So I'm like, look, dude, you need to get into AI. Like, teach yourself how to do this. Because, like, you're totally committed to your concept, but you don't have the crew, you don't have the people, you don't have the resources. However, welcome to AI. Now, I haven't seen really, really full-on AI in terms of like it can full-on do like action sequences and this and that. It's a lot more like you'll have sort of still figures with the camera panning around them, and more like stuff you might see in a movie trailer. Unfortunately, I can't say that it's really there yet. You know what I'm saying? But probably won't be long though. Probably another year from now or something. Anyway. This pen's getting a little dry. I think I'm gonna need to switch out. Maybe I'll move out as well a bit. So yeah, this is a lot of detail. I have so much work to do, guys. I do have an opening in my schedule, however, so I am expecting to get a lot of work done. Oh, I'm digging this vibe. Can you guys hear the music at all? I don't know. Oh man. So yeah, Andreas, one of the cool things we talked about was about the Nordic, it's not the Nordic Front, what's it called? The organization that he's in, Nordic Frontier is the channel, but the movement that he is in, how they're kind of like the Swedish version of Patriot Front, and it was a good discussion. It was just there was just a great energy. Like everyone was all like, "Wow, this is cool." You know, there was the meeting of his world and my world. It just was fun and exciting, and there was like a great energy in the chat. Um, you know, he does this kind of these great videos, and you know, for not being a trained musician, he makes some pretty sweet beats, you know, and can pull off some cool music. Um, that's actually one of my big goals, and I haven't. My hands are really full with this graphic novel, so I can't really get into music the way I want to. But I'm just dying to get back into writing. I've got a lot of songs in development that I'm really excited about. But there's that feeling of like if I can't record it, what's the point? You know, it's awful, but like it's essentially how it works. Like you gotta record your music in order to keep it. You know, um, I mean, I can play live, but like my the audio is garbage. You know, it's just my laptop microphone, so it's very tinty and doesn't sound good at all. Like I want to have like really good audio on this. Make it something that is real clean and has layers on it. I'm very good with harmonies, vocal harmonies. So like I'd like to bring in more of that. You know, I've got a very good drummer who's just he understands me. You know, it's like so good when you find a drummer that like gets you and is like, this is my drummer. You know what I'm saying? Um, I play bass as well, so you can just put the pieces together. You know, it's once it all comes together, it's going to be fantastic. Going south of the border here, guys. South of the border. Um, is this more like Brazilian style music? Is this? I don't know what I would call this. I was just looking for something a little more kind of light. Like I play a lot of house music on this channel, which of course I love. I'm more than likely going dancing tonight. But I just thought I'd try a different vibe. So if you guys don't like the music, though, I can change it. You know? Put on some Fash Wave. I guess I could actually put on my music. You know, like I've got that on my YouTube. Have you guys, any of you guys listened to my music before on my YouTube? If not, that means you don't like me. Okay, we can't be friends. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to getting something going with. I mean, getting something going. We haven't figured out what we would do, you know, but we're both like, there's a really good synergy here. You got your thing, I got my thing, crossing over the arts with activism, having some really good deep combos about, you know, origins and esoterics and all kinds of great stuff. It's just right up my alley, you know. It's more like, or more likely that I'll create some kind of a panel discussion with him in it. I'm starting a kind of a small series of panel discussions on the speeches of Kai Moros. And Nullis, my dear friend, just had to kind of bow out. There's something going on, and I can't get into it, but uh, so the last discussion, and it's on Kai Moros's speech called "On Hate," and I super strongly encourage you guys to look that up. Like, I know you love coming to watch me draw and stuff. Like, I feel like those are the real shows. This is just me fucking hanging out and like being a dumbass, you know. I'm just having fun with my bros and a couple ladies that pop in once in a while. But yes, I do actual shows, you know. Anyway, so I think Andreas would be freaking perfect for these panel discussions because Kai Moros's speeches are very revolutionary. Like they're just openly, unabashedly revolutionary. It's definitely the kind of stuff you get in trouble for saying. You know what I mean? So it's got to be said, guys. You know, it's got to be done. Kai Moros is great. Yeah. Hey, Cosmos is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you with us, Cosmos. Kai is actually a very close friend. My channel says, "What the fuck? Nose cooked out?" No, he didn't cook out. You know, Nellis's business is his business. I can't like tell you why he can't be on the show, but it's actually good news. I just, again, it's like I would like to say why, but I just think it's just, you know, he's a dear friend. I respect his wishes, and he's kind of like, you know, just gotta hold off on that for a bit because I got something brewing, and it's like you'll see eventually when all that comes together. But I would never call Nellis a cuck. You know, that's totally not who he is. Um, so the funny thing is, though, my other guy on the panel discussion is Luke Mason, Imminent Rain, the musician. And he's very bold. He's very based and does not pull punches. And he has really fresh and unique views on our cause and lots of beautiful esoteric things, etc. So getting him and Andreas in the same room at the same time is going to be explosive. And not explosives in the way that they would fight each other, but explosive in terms of like these two guys are like kind of, you know, beasts in a way that their views are very strong, and they also both have a sympathy with paganism. I never like using the word paganism, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. As Andreas said on the show, he's not Christian or pagan, so that's not, you know, he leans pagan is sort of what he said on the show. But anyway, yeah. So it's, you know, with that kind of how do I say, like ethno spiritual perspective, then it's just going to be a very rich conversation. And I don't know that there's a lot of convos out there with this kind of mix. I suppose that you'd have to go, you know, to some more exclusive Asatru kind of channels to get that type of content. I don't know. I mean, I know that there's like sort of Asatru folks out there that are they're really just kind of liberal LARPers, you know. I shared something recently from a girl that does these beautiful crafty artworks, like shields and things that have beautiful you know, like symbols and things that are Nordic and on the rest of it. And then I found out from one of my friends that like in her description she uses like she, her, you know. So I was like, you know, I'm like, what? You're like, pronouns? Are you fucking kidding me? You know? Come on, you're like, how can you be what you are and then like fall for that shit? You know, what the fuck, you know? So you always have to be vigilant, you know. What are you gonna do? I'm open to hearing what you guys would like to hear us talk about. I mean, I'm all about community. I'm all about, you know, listening and working with and like, you know, doing community oriented projects, shows and such. The Tuesday show with Patriart in the UK, we do a live art show every Tuesday, and it's always based on a poll. You know, so he runs the poll, and it'll be like, you know, of these five choices, what theme would you like us to do live art on this week? You know, and so it's nice that we're, you know, kind of interacting with and satisfying the community in this kind of way. So if you guys want to suggest discussions, panel discussions, debates, topics, you know, like freaking go for it. You know what I mean? Will that mess up his parole? Ha ha ha. No, he's a good guy. He's not on parole. We're talking about Nullis, correct? Yeah. All right. I think I might be done with this jungle music. So I am. Whoops, I dropped it. So give me a moment, and I will put something on. Gonna do the DJ action over here. Okay. So, yeah. What else can I say? I was kind of jumping all over the place as usual. Kai Moros. Um, how did that all start? Um, when I don't know when I started with the White Art Collective and was getting into this community. I met people like Hyrith, who I hope you guys know who Hyrith is. She's a great singer songwriter. And I had her on the show to talk about not Kaimuros, Francis Parker Yaki and Imperium, and, you know, just kind of getting into it all. What the hell? No, this music's not happening. No. Sorry, that was weird. We're not doing that. Let's just get back to some frickin' house music, bruh. There we go. Some kind of easy vibing. So let's see. I maybe thought I got. Anyway, Kai Moros. I'm sorry. I'm all over here. Long story short, somehow or other, Hyrith did an interview with Kai, and then I started kind of like looking into like, oh, who's this Kai Moros guy, you know, and watching his speeches, I was floored. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. This guy's incredible. You know, and he's iconic. You know, I'm like, wow. So then I just sort of, you know, kind of like instantly became a fan, and I just honestly, I guess I can't say that I really remember sort of how it all started. I think I must have reached out to him for an interview or something. Showed him my works and such, and oh, I know what it was. Yeah, I wanted to have him on Imperium Art. I think I had Richard Spencer on, and then I shared that video to kind of say like, you know, look, if I'm having guests on, you know, in this sort of level, if you will, then like maybe you would come on the show too, you know. And he loved my work. He just loves the arts and the power of the arts and all of this stuff. And so we were going to do a show on architecture. And I don't know why it never really transpired, but in the course of it all, we just sort of kept emailing each other, corresponding about everything, the movement, arts, culture, this and that, and then we just grew to become friends. So, and then, long story short, whatever. Now here we are, and he's, I've been just kind of like digging up his speeches and saying like, now's the time to bring Kai Moros back. Let's get this going again. Like his work is very, very significant to where we are, politically and everything. I think it's just time, So I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's hard to do your art and respond to the chat and DJ and jump around from topic to topic. So yeah, I believe I'm going dancing tonight. I had a very, very stressful week, and I need to freaking shake it off. I have some bad news to share. A coworker of mine died suddenly on Monday, and it was one of these, the meme "died suddenly." So, it's the kind of situation where he had no health problems, didn't complain about any kind of heart pain. I don't want to get into his personal stuff, but, if you're in the know, you understand what happens to people that are vaccinated. And I'm still kind of reeling from it. There's the whole funeral and the family, and I was very close with him and his family, very, very close. So it's another, it's just, life has been kicking the shit out of me for quite a while here. I don't know how to put this, but I'm very much sort of at peace with death, though. Like, and I'm not gonna. And you guys, oh shit, here goes Don talking about death again. Like, all right, I'll go find something fun to do. I'm not gonna get all dour on you or whatever. But the stuff weighs on you, though. It's just been a tough week, and I need to shake it off a bit. Yeah, died suddenly. Whatever, clots. Yeah, 6-week turbo cancer's coming up. Really? Yeah. What's the scoop on the turbo cancer shit? Because like I know so many. I mean, for starters, if anyone's paying attention, there's all these like, oh, so and so died suddenly, and so died, and there's a case after case. People dying suddenly, and those who did the research know why this is happening, but you're always kind of trying to keep an eye out for what's the next big thing, what's the next plot twist, if you will, in their fucking agenda, their depopulation agenda. Anyway, so it's kind of like I live in a spirit of like, you know what, this person could be gone tomorrow. Because that literally fucking happened. And this isn't the first person in my life, who's died this way. I don't know, man. Yeah, you gotta. It's not something I think people are really. They don't really live like that. You don't live like that. It's just not. It's not how we often go about our daily lives. but this is what's going on, you know. Uh, and I'm not Mr. Perfect. I'm not walking on water or anything. I have my faults. I get angry. But in the end of the day, though, I really I'm kind of trying to look at it like, what's the word, like spiritual hygiene, if you will. The notion that you know there's people that hurt you, that make you angry, and you're justified in your anger and this and that and the other thing, but like they're gonna die. Like everybody's gonna die. So there's that sense of like, well, if I can kind of live in the light of that reality, perhaps I can be more, I can kind of calm down a little. I can uh, live closer to God. I can be a better friend, brother, sister, something, something, whatever it is that you are and do for other people. You know, um, I feel very much like everything is just kind of about quality of life, like, making sure that we're doing stuff that, I guess in the end, we won't regret. You know what I mean? Yeah. Take no shit, do no harm, and take no shit. That is the way. I like that. Do no harm and take no shit. I like that. Oh my God, man. Crazy stuff. Hank Lee, welcome. That's a great motto. Yeah, I didn't make it up, but I like it a lot. Um, I also feel I'm kind of compelled to say this, that like, what do we want in the movement? We want to be left alone. We want to we want to be a majority in our own countries. That is not a fucking thing to ask. That's not a problem. That's nothing criminal or strange or weird or evil about that. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just feel like the whole do no harm, take no shit uh, philosophy, if you will, it is something that we could kind of interject into the movement. I feel like nobody really talks about sort of the psycho-spiritual health of our guys and gals in the movement, and like, how are we coping with fucking white genocide? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this isn't, this shit's hard, man. It wears you down. It's problematic. And what are we doing? Because I guess, just, you know what I mean. I don't need to explain. You guys we're in the thick of it all the time. Yeah, yeah. But I feel like that's a pretty good motto as far as like, how to maybe approach what we're going through. Yeah, I'm not like the moral code bringer or whatever, of the movement, but I do advocate though for, a certain kind of protocol, I guess, of like, how should we behave professionally, in the movement. I've talked about that a little bit on some other shows. A topic that's kind of of growing interest to me is the issue of men and women, and specifically like how men and women get along in the movement, or not. You know what I'm saying? Because like there really appears to be a problem with that. I brought it up before, and then like straight away I get all this kind of like rah, 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 people get They got lots of opinions on it. It just seems like that's not, it's antithetical. It kind of goes against what our goals are. We shouldn't be fighting with each other, right? We should be working together, making babies. So, Hankley says, good point. We have three aspects: the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. The spirit is by far the most neglected and mainstream in the mainstream. Okay, so like, yeah, and it's not even like a religious discussion. It's more about how do we maintain a certain kind of, and I use the term psycho-spiritual, meaning that it's like your psychology and your spirituality are directly linked. You know what I'm saying? So how do we maintain a kind of healthy psycho-spiritual approach to activism, shitlording, everything that we are and do? And nobody's really talking about that. I think there's probably, you know, you got the whole, you know, high school mentality of like, oh, that's not masculine or something like that. I'm too old for that. Like, I don't like succumb to that kind of high school peer pressure mentality stuff. I think that honestly, if we were healthier in this way, it would empower us a lot. And if you look at the fact that this is exactly what our enemies are constantly doing, is demoralizing us, stressing us out, hurting us, offending us, insulting us, on and on and on, then it points directly to the fact that, yeah, we should be very concerned about our psycho-spiritual health. What are we doing, you know? So I think that might make a great panel discussion right there. I don't know who would I invite on that discussion. I'd say, like, first person that pops to mind is Philosopher Cat. You guys know Philosopher Cat? Her and I have been talking for ages. Like, okay, let's get on the show. Like, come on my show. Come on. Okay, yeah, I'm a little busy right now. We'll get back in touch. Oh, I really want to get on your show. Da, da, da. It's like, it's been like 3 years now that we haven't been able to organize it. But I love her to pieces, and I think that once we get it together, it's gonna be pretty freaking cool. Her interest, her background, etc. It's not the same, but it's parallel to a lot of what I do and have done. I'm interested in these same areas of thought, if you will. So I mean, she's very much more academically, what's the word? Like, she could be a college professor on these various topics, whereas I'm just pretty much a guy that's very well read and somewhat outspoken. You know what I mean? So consequently, I'm quite sure that we could have like a really, really good conversation about the topic. So that's cool. Yeah, things to do, and that's even something I think that, like, Andreas could have a role in too. I should think. You guys have any ideas? Oh, this is good. AA is here. It's good to have you, AA. I'm just doing some comic stuff, doing my usual banter. Here's some comics for you to see here. Some previous page with some cool stuff happening, cool characters, fun. And yeah, so, I've got some pencil pages and doing the inking. So there you go. I generally don't like to pencil on this show. There's like a weird hissing noise coming from my computer. Let me fast forward this. I don't like it. Let's go back. Okay. it's a little nicer. So what's shaking, AA? What's happening in your world? Oh, fatigued is the word over here. Oh man, I don't know. AA is male or female. I don't know. Hippocratic Oath says, "Can you show some militia man before the end?" I will do that right now for you, my brother. Anything for you, Hippocratic Oath. Anything for you. Actually, hold tight. So, for starters, here's. It's not. I don't think this is going to be the cover of Militia Man, but it'd be like an alternative cover. So, it might go like on the inside of the book somewhere, or maybe the back cover or something. I think it's kind of fun. You've the target market for militiamen is technically more of like a MAGA crowd, even though I'm more far right, like National Socialist sympathetic and all that. You know, I like a big fan of Uncle A. I'm essentially creating a story targeting that audience, and then in the creative way explaining why the far right is the right way through the narrative of this. So it's not a bait and switch, but it's a transformative story of this like MAGA American hero. It's kind of like you could combine Superman with Captain America. That's who Militia Man is. And it's a series of tragedies happen. He becomes J-pilled, and he transforms into a whole other character. That it's the same guy, but like he's grown up. He became red-pilled the way we are. So this is going to be a freaking... I can't wait to finish this book, but it's going to take 100 years. I hope you guys are around in 100 years. Anyway, I'll get some more artwork. Next slide. So I just finished some pencils on that, but this is pretty cool. This right here, I'm sorry, it's hard to see, but this is kind of like CERN. You guys know what CERN is? CERN. You know, the Hydra something collider. I forget, but it's kind of like a portal to bring demons into the world, essentially. So like whatever, that's part of the story. Here's a look at some of the characters on MAGA Force. They all get killed off in the first issue, and that's part of the story arc of how Militia Man realizes that he's being manipulated, he's being lied to, and it's got kind of a strong Christian nationalist theme in it. I know there's a lot of debate about Christianity in our spheres, and you know, I have my own comments on the topic. However, I feel that we need to change Christians into the crusaders that they once were, or encourage them to be. So I'm kind of telling that story. There's a whole section where after they kill off all the white characters, they bring in all these superheroes that are people of color that are technically villains. This is a meeting at the Bilderberg. It's a Bilderberg meeting that happens in the story. There's some... this is like a super fascist character here. There's this other character's Southern rebel superhero. You have like an Ossetru character. You've got Boogaloo Boys. You just got some really freaking cool stuff that, you know, makes sense in our sphere. There's little Easter eggs inside the story that, you know, are special for our people. It's just very, very rich. It's very, very fun and very cool. I've got a fantastic colorist lined up for the story. He's from South Africa. He's a white South African guy. And like the quality of the art once this is done is going to be like Marvel, DC level quality. It's going to be like you know, just top notch, basically. Yeah. So there you go, and now you know. Oh, welcome to the Donald Kent crazy hour. Getting a little, let's see what's in the comments. Wow, this is good. Oh, we read that. Hadron Collider. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys know anything about that? I bet you my channel knows something about that. I get it. You're helping the MAGA right to the next rung up. You nailed it. You nailed it. And I think the Overton window is flying. Not flying, but it's moving to the right, and they're getting there. Like the JQ is becoming a mainstream topic, and you get the idea. So this, that, and the other thing. What do I know about? I was wondering if you knew about the Hadron Collider and any of the thoughts on it being like essentially like a portal for other multi-dimensional beings. Is it conspiracy or no? Will the world ever know? So I've been doing more research on that topic of multidimensionality, and learning a lot from influencers that are kind of, I don't know what to call it, sort of, it's a type of, I don't even know what to call that realm of the internet, but anyway, maybe it's a little too weird for this show. I think I'll back off that topic, but I find it deeply, deeply interesting, though. I'm digging this vibe, man. Can you guys hear this music? I don't know. I'm using my phone, so sometimes it doesn't pick up on the music. I haven't spent time. Oh, okay. I'm losing some of these jokes here. Portals haven't. Well, except for this planet. Yeah, this planet is definitely a prison planet. Very definitely. Hippocratic oaths, especially, they don't really care about creating new particles. They want to open a gateway. That's what I was talking about, yeah. Yes, I can hear the music. Okay. I guess I can say that a good explanation of interdimensionality that I heard recently was that, and I can't confirm these things, this is just like anything else, I'm interested in it. It's just stuff I find fascinating. They say that we are interdimensional, and that you've got your physical body, your spirit body, etc. And if you were to take, say, like a couple sheets of paper, and then the Holy Spirit, which is, your consciousness, the God force within you. Like if you take a stack of papers, and then maybe on the top sheet you drew an outline of a human body, and you could say that's the physical you. But like if you left the marker on the paper long enough, it would bleed through to other sheets beneath it, and that where that bleed through is kind of like representative of the other dimensions of you that I'm not capable really of speaking on the topic, but I'm just it's something I'm going to keep researching because I'm quite fascinated with it. Something that an aspect of this, I guess, is astral travel. There's a thing called the Monroe Institute. They basically train people how to have out of body experiences, and their training is based on CIA documents from, oh, I don't know, probably the 50s and 60s when they were investing more into paranormal research. You guys might have heard of like remote viewing and things of this nature. Kind of goes along with that world, if you will. So if you ever look up the Monroe Institute and check out some of the interviews on there, freaking crazy stuff. Very, very, very heavy, amazing stuff. But very good in the sense of like, frankly, just about like navigating the afterlife and the spirit world. This is part of what I mean about like coming to being at peace with death. The word death itself is really just a shitty word in the sense that it's just transformation. I mean, death is death, but like, you are not your body. This is maybe slightly cliche, but like what do they say? You're not a physical being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. So that's what I'm trying to say. And it's profound. If you can get around it and you can figure it out, this is radically, radically profound stuff. So like, I don't know when, but I feel like eventually I'm gonna kind of break away from a lot of the stuff that I do publicly and just kind of go into monk mode and learn these things and learn how to do these things. I don't know like how long I should keep up this Donald Trump stuff. Like, I don't know. There's different kind of priorities in life. You got your health, your family, your finances. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like the next phase, but I'm not making any promises or whatever. It's just been on my mind. Let's put it that way. Hello, mate. Who's there? It's Miratien. I'm probably pronouncing that terribly. Miratien? Yo. Wish I could know how to pronounce a lot of the names on my show. But let me welcome you, and I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. How did you find this channel? Enormous is here. Hemisync. Now we're talking. Now we're in the same language here. The CIA contacted the Monroe Institute to ask them to develop a system for them. Oh, that's the sequence. Okay, thank you. See, I have the best fans on this channel. I shit you not. I have the fucking best people on this channel. The conversations that we have in the chat are like, whoa, And that's the beauty of it, right? Is that everybody brings some knowledge from their knowledge base into the discussion. And then we all win. You know what I mean? We all kind of benefit. So it's so cool. And it's the kind of thing where like you may have heard about X, but you don't quite remember X, and then like someone reminds you, oh yeah, that's cool, okay, cool, yeah. Put the pieces together. How this relates to the conversation is we were talking about like the psycho-spiritual health of the movement. And imagine if in the movement we were not just doing a meme war, but rather each one of us was becoming a warrior monk individually, but as a community as well. You know what I mean? Like, we would harness some very powerful white magic, and I mean, I don't. That sounds like a pun, right? But think about it, like if everyone in the movement, because you got to realize our enemies have Kabbalah. You understand what I'm saying? And that's black magic essentially. So we need something. We need something as well, you know. But obviously something that is like moral too, you know, that's not, you know. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. You know. There's a time when I was very, very seriously looking into learning remote viewing. I kind of got all the contacts and the information, and I was, you know, pretty much right on the doorstep of deciding, like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then I found an interview video of a guy that teaches it who was saying, like, I'm getting out of this. I'm not teaching this course anymore, and here's why. And then he explains about how he was visited by what you might call men in black that were probably, I don't know if they were FBI or some other, probably not FBI, probably more some kind of like deep state unnamed organization, and they just essentially threatened his life, you know. And like he just was like, you know, if you want to continue breathing, you're going to stop doing this, you know, because he was just essentially giving it away to the public. And that scared me, I'll be honest with you, man. You know, I mean, it was kind of like, but there was more than that. As I found out, like there was a story of a woman. Was it a woman? Anyway, there was a story of one of these people that does remote viewing, and she was remote viewing, I'm gonna say, like bases on the moon, and she ended up seeing gray aliens there, but their minds are so advanced that they became aware that she was remote viewing, and they were looking back at her, aware of her. So she, like, you know, cut the session off, you know. um, so like it's kind of like when you're out there, you know, you're not alone. Like you're kind of giving off a resonance or a signal, and consciousnesses that are more evolved or stronger than you per se. Stronger is a weird word, but more advanced than you. I don't know. I mean, you see kind of what I'm saying is like you would want to be cautious about such a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Um, primarily, I'm really just, you know, I'm just trying to save my soul. You know, I just want to know what's really going on out there. You know, yeah, of course, I would love to use any of this knowledge, information to help others. You know, that's a very beautiful thing. But and as I said in the beginning of the show, all we want is to be left alone. You know, like we're not trying to rule over other people, conquer, you know, like our enemies are. You know, we don't have like a 1,000-year-old religion that teaches us that all non people like us are animals and should be enslaved or killed or some shit like the Talmud. We don't have a white Talmud, you know. It's like it's just stupid for us to even like apologize for what? What the fuck, you know? We're the ones experiencing white genocide. What the fuck are we apologizing for? Okay, Hippocratic Oath says that's basically what Jesus said. God made into flesh. Yes. Formalin is here. Welcome, Formalin. Glad to have you on in the chat for some cray conversation with my friends over here. So I could start talking like a southerner if you like. I am known to do accents once in a while. I hope it doesn't annoy you. I do take requests. Scottish is one of the hardest ones, though. I need to warm up for that one. Gentlemen in the mix. I had the idea that, you know what, I want to this issue has like 12 pages or something in it. So I was like, you know what? I want to pencil all 12 pages and then I'll start inking and then I can just rock and roll right through the whole thing. But I thought, shit, if I do that, then like you guys will be waiting for a week or so without any streams. And I just can't do that to you. That would be cruel. Like, what the hell? You're like, well, I guess Don doesn't care about us anymore. Shit. I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends, man. Where the hell is it? While I'm looking for something, you guys can look at this. Alan Davis and Mark Farmer are two like gods in comic books. They're from England. I think Mark Farmer's from they're pretty sure they're from England. Huge fan of these blokes. These are my mates right here. They just love the style, the layouts. Oh, look at the mole people. That has new meaning now that we know about certain tunnel diggers. The mole man. This is too crazy. Anyway, that is the goods right there, my man. Anyway, I gotta grab something. Hang on here. Pretty interesting stuff. There it is. Okay. All right. Wing It. You got it, my man. Wing It's here, folks. Let the party begin. Hippocratic Oath, that mole man had a big nose. Well, you know, they're apparently like they're kind of like they can't see very well in the dark and the tunnels, so they have to sniff their way around. You know? You gotta have a really good sniffer. You're gonna be a mole man. I just my question is like, what's up with the mattresses? You know, why are they all bloody? Oh, what's the story behind that? Getting cold again. I gotta grab a sweater. Oh, maybe I should turn the heat on. What a novel idea. Hold on. Alright, there you go. Oh. Let's see. That mole man had a big nose. Yeah, I just read that. Okay. So, yeah, I'm about to jump back on here in a second. Just zipping up. What do you guys got going on today? Anything exciting? Saturday? Going out tonight? Anything going on? Who in the chat is from the UK? Because I think I have a pretty decent amount of friends in the UK that frequent this show. Maybe just say hear ye. Got some people from Scandinavia. I don't know, you know, like where exactly, if it's, you know, like Sweden, Denmark, etc. So the thing with the inking is it's like, I could ink the hell out of stuff. I could like render, you know, just put billions and trillions of tiny little lines and stuff. But the colorist is really going to end up doing that. You know, he sculpts it with shadow and light and pops in the highlights here. So like, if I over render the art, then it just gets clunky and junky and messy. It's visually, comics are not fine art per se. Like hold on. A little too loud. Like, it's a reading experience, like a movie. It's a movie on paper, so you want to have like a visual impact, like a sudden, powerful visual impact, and then you know, be able to give people a cool, fun experience. I mean, if you're going for like a fine art comic book, then like if I were to do that, I'd be doing it in watercolor. You know, I love watercolor. I'm really good at watercolor, and then I would have just juicy, like yummy art. You know, that would just be like, oh wow, that's exquisite. That's very pretty, and da 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 da. That goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the show, where I lived in Asia and I did, Chinese landscape painting and all those nice things. So should I get into story time? Some you guys want like Asia stories or New York City stories? Um, I got a lot of girl stories, but I don't think those are appropriate for the show. So. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay. I prefer watercolors to digital. Oh my God, that's a convo we had earlier in the show as well. One of the guys that came on was talking about how he likes that I use traditional media rather, and I was just pretty much explaining how like I can't like I don't like the feeling of working digital. I mean the effects are sweet. It's cool stuff, but I don't like I it feels to me it feels awful to like not feel the ink and the pressure and the paper and like it's not visceral. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be a goofy art snob or something saying that, like there's just a certain immediacy to it. Um, how do I put it? Like immediacy, I think is really really critical for me anyway. In terms of like this is hard work, guys. Like this is, I mean, hours of concentration. You had better love what you're doing, otherwise it'd be like torture almost, right? To like hours and hours and hours and hours of drawing and drawing and drawing and lines and lines and lines and on and on. It's hard work, right? So you have to have a sense of joy in what you're doing, right? You know. Um, so if I can't really feel what I'm doing, then why the hell? You know what I mean? Like I gotta feel it. At the same time, and here I am, typical Donald Kent contradiction. Like in the future, at some point, I feel like I need to go digital because of it being like more, what's the word, efficient. And but I just can't break away. You know? I don't know. Am I like a neophyte? Am I a Neanderthal? Am I a bad person? Don't answer that. Oh, sorry. Pardon me. It's like an existential sigh right there. Hmm. Wing it. Did you see my interview with Andreas Johansson? I just did that a couple. When did I do that? Wasn't long ago. How many days ago was that? Oh, all right. the Fantastic Four book looked digi. Is it digi or diggy? 14 likes. Nice. St. Thomas Aquinas is here. Wow. Um, Interviewed who? I was referring to Andreas Johansson. He's pretty much the Hey Buddy guy. Did you ever see the Hey Buddy shorts on like YouTube or TikTok? They're kind of a thing. Anyway, you can look back and check out the show. It's quite good. It was a big hit. Thomas Aquinas, when I was in high school, I really enjoyed reading Thomas Aquinas. I was trying to get into Christian theology, philosophy. And I feel like he's a really key person, key character. When I was, what's it called? When I was Catholic, and I got confirmed. If you're Catholic, you know it's a sort of a process. You go through Catholic education, and then you go through confirmation. I chose Thomas as my confirmation name because of Thomas Aquinas. So that was that. You know, that's like how much I love Thomas Aquinas, Saint Thomas Aquinas, in my readings when I was younger. I mean, I'll be honest, I think I probably didn't understand like a lot of it because it just at, whatever, 14, 15 years old, I don't think I had the full intellectual capacity to like grasp all of it. And some of this stuff is like extremely esoteric, but nevertheless, I think it's a wonderful thing, It's a wonderful thing. What's that all about, Alfie? That's cool stuff. So, Mr. Aquinas, how did you discover my channel? I always asking people because I want to know, I need to know how the algorithm is working. It seems to me that, like, I do a lot of YouTube shorts. I post a lot on Twitter, or Twitter as I like to call it. And I'm just always trying to find out, like, how did you find me? What's happening? It'd be very useful information to me. In fact, if all of you could actually tell me that, I would appreciate that as well. I feel like, because it's funny, I'll just put it straight. So, like, what are my goals this year? Like, what can I do with this channel that could, be serve the community, and be fun and cool. Obviously, it's going to be a ton of art. There's going to be a lot of comics. But I want to do panel discussions. You got to look at what are you good at and what are you not good at. I have a sort of, I'm good at talking. I'm good at interviews. I'm good at running a show. I'm not good at I guess political activism on the street and that kind of thing. Like that's just, I've wanted to be I want to be good at that, but it's just every time I've ever tried to really kind of go down that route, just obstacles and dumb shit that happens, and just somehow or other just never worked for me. But I feel like I can support people who do that. I think that makes some sense. I don't know. Let's quick read the chat here. Oh, Big Nose, Fantastic Four interview. 14 to 15 is the age of reason, hence your confirmation. Interesting. How did I find your channel? The Lord or God sent me. Well, wow. Praise God in that case. I mean, praise God. I feel that moves me. That touches my heart. That really touches me. Thank you. Wow, I get a little teary-eyed right here. This is beautiful. Thank you. That's marvelous. Very beautiful. So maybe, Mr. Aquinas, maybe you can answer a query that I have. And everybody can pitch in on this discussion. I think it's an interesting topic. If someone's going through extraordinary hardships, from your perspective, what does that mean in the sense, like, I'll just give you an example. Last night, I was with a very, very close friend of mine who is what I would call a biblical scholar and a biblical Christian. I say that meaning like not sort of a like a church Christian, if that makes sense. Not that I'm not sort of knocking people that go to church. I don't mean to say that or imply that, but he's just extremely devout. And he said to me that God is preparing me for something. I've been going through some unbelievable hardships that I can't really talk about. And I'm not gonna like I don't want to turn it into the Donald Kent crybaby show. But if you knew the stuff that I've been going through, it's off the charts. And I'm just in a very strange sort of surreal mode that I can't even describe anymore. That like once when you've been through so much all at the same time over and over simultaneously, you hit a plateau where you're like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a type of surreal acceptance where you're almost watching your life like a movie. And how I'm able to do that largely is really through my connection to God. Is to just be like, God take the wheel, that kind of thing. And there's no other way. It's like you couldn't really go through these things alone, and sort of simultaneously my relation to God is just like turbo boosted. Like it's super phenomenal, super beautiful. And like it's I think that everybody has different kinds of experiences of God, I suppose. Mine is just it's on like full blast right now. I'm not saying that to sound like, oh, I'm so spiritual and wonderful, I'm better than you. I'm not. That's not remotely what I'm saying. If anything, I'm just a piece of shit. I'm just trying to do good. But what are your thoughts? Like, what are hardships for? What if you're looking through the lens of say Christianity, or not even Christianity, like spiritually, because one it gets to the point where you're like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, this is insane. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And maybe just the question, why is this happening, is an insane question. Maybe you know what I mean? Like, is that a right thing to even think? I don't know. I would love to know your thoughts on this, guys. I think this is it's, you can approach it philosophically or spiritually, whatever sort of makes sense to you. But I think it'd be interesting to know your thoughts on this. All right, let's take a look at the chat and see what you blokes are saying here. Right. I think I found you from Countercurrents or No White Guilt. Very cool. More likely, No White Guilt. I cross over into that community. I It's funny because I've corresponded with Greg Johnson, and I bought his books, and I work very closely with Spencer Quinn, who's one of the authors and article writers. Like he writes articles regularly at Countercurrents. Actually, Greg Johnson approved a graphic novel that I submitted for Countercurrents, but then I got this job and this pays, and so I just switched gears. But maybe someday that will get published. Anyway, Wing It says, oh no, Wing It says, beer is proof God loves us and wants us to be happy. Poontang, I don't know. That truly is a philosophical approach right there. What you just did. I'm quite inspired by your depth of knowledge on existential questions of the meaning of life and suffering. Anyway, we'll see how it goes, guys. We shall see how it goes. Ah, you know what? I think I'm gonna use a brush for this. Yeah. So this background here is really, you know, it's really hard to draw small. It's just like, you know, it's just it's very hard to do. It's a thing, Things that are farther away are very like unfinished and kind of dim in a sense, and you know, they don't read so clearly. So you have to kind of take that into account. It's a type of drawing in and of itself, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's a ticket. I don't know if I should change the music though. I'm getting to that change the music stage. Let's see what we got here. The meaning of life and suffering. Yes, that segues into another conversation. Thomas says hardships are unfortunately part of life on earth. Confessing your sins and praying the rosary every day can raise you out of those hard times. My mom did the rosary every single night before bed. She was extremely close to God, and uh, I think an exemplary Christian, like a profound inspiration to me. Um, and always will be. So anyway, what else here? Wing it. Hold on. I always drew. I can't read this. I always drew small till a Scotsman bawled me out for it. Go large. AUA flayed. I don't know what that means, but well, I mean, it's comics. Like I have to, not everything is in the foreground. Like this guy is in the foreground, and maybe they could maybe just call it the middle ground here, and then that's the background, right? So, depth of field is a really important thing. I kind of not liking this music. Depth of field is an important thing for quality in comics. Otherwise, it's just Charlie Brown. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Um, it's not, you know, you can't. You got to draw small. Like there's no way around it. Things far away look small, right? Hmm. So on the I don't know if I want to use that word that Wingit was using, but on that particular topic, I have a friend. He's quite a bit younger than me, and he's going through a lot of relationship problems right now. He keeps calling me and asking for advice, and it's been pretty good in terms of like being able to help him and discuss things, but like it's tricky because you've got this. I don't know, like girls that are like say, you know, you know, in their early 20s. For starters, they've got that whole feminist bullshit going on in their lives that in terms of like their values and the language that they use. And but then there's the usual like I don't want to be accountable for anything I do. And yeah, all the mind games and the fuckery, da 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 da. And he's a very bright, sensitive, creative young man. He's an artist in his own right. And so I understand that. I was like he's very much like me when I was his age. I'll just kind of put it out there like that. So I've been able to help him, but at the same time, like the game has changed a lot. In terms of like, um, I don't know. It just seems like it's so tough for people to have good relationships anymore. I don't know. I'm not trying to be cynical, but fuck, man, like the shit that goes on these days. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Let's see. Trying to write with a Scots accent. So let's see. The Scottish accent. The Scottish accent is quite difficult to do. You better be careful because you don't want to make a Scotsman angry. If you do that, there'll be wigs on the grain. You'd better shut your fucking face up, otherwise I'll have to smash it to pieces. I don't know, I'm just fucking freestyling the Scottish accent here. I don't know if they're all that mean, though. I don't know that they are, but it's quite grand, actually. It's interesting how, like, jagged it sounds to me as opposed to say an Irish accent, which is more how could I go about speaking an Irish accent? It's got a bit of a bend to it, if you will, and then you know that oh, saints be praised, that we could go down to the pub and have a pint or two. I'll see you there at 3 o'clock, okay? Are you available at 3? How about 3:30? You don't know? All right, well, we'll see you and Patrick and Sean and all the others there. It'll be grand. You'll love it. Get a nice Guinness. Anyway, so if my buddy Jack White were here, he would be laughing his ass off. He'd probably hit me with the shillelagh, though. Let's see. St. Thomas says, you have such a steady hand. Did you ever think of becoming a surgeon? That is an amazing thing what you just said right there. I literally on my show many times I've said that like inking is like doing surgery, like brain surgery or something. That's so funny that you should say that. Like you're the first person that's ever said that. That's wild. Like it's like I pretty much I don't have any faith in the medical industry. I just have very, very bad thoughts about the medical industry. Maybe in the past, one day it was, it was good or great or something, but like, I'm no. The answer is no. I would not. I would not become a surgeon. But that is a very thoughtful or kind thing to say. So thank you. I guess I would say that it all started when I started learning Japanese sumie painting, which I lived in Japan. Uh, I showed you this earlier, like these bamboo brushes and such. I lived in Japan for a year and studied traditional Japanese and Chinese painting or Oriental painting, Asian art, traditional Asian art. And with that type of brush, you hold it like this, and it's a traditional thing, and there's a certain fluidity to the way the wrist works, and it frankly is like a kind of martial art. The fluidity and the instinct and the flow, and I've like lots and lots and lots of years experience with that. I've exhibited in Japan and Taiwan, and anyway, so segueing, say from that to this, I'm just I think it shows, I suppose. Then I don't know that I like my own work so much. I like it to a degree. You know, you're never really. That's a whole other topic. Like when artists look at their own work, and I know what I like about it. I guess I'll kind of maybe say that. And I like it to be fluid. I like the lines to be lively. I hate comic book art that's like super super stiff. To me, that's ugly. Um, so it is a graphic art form. You're a draftsman as well as a designer and a storyteller, and you got to have certain skills. But um, I don't know. I just hate it when the lines are dead, and stiff. Um, and that's my story. I'm sticking by it. Okay. How long has this show been going on? 122 minutes. Is that a little self-indulgent? I don't know. I'm really just trying to get the work done, guys. I mean, I appreciate your company. It's so much more enjoyable having you around, and it's pretty weird talking to yourself. I enjoy the back and forth a lot. Let's see. You can say BS and fook, but you can't say poontang. Irish flows easier than Scots. Yeah, indeed. Um, yeah, I did. I don't know. It seems kind of a little vulgar to me for some reason. I know, isn't that weird? Like I drop f bombs all the time, but like, oh, I can't say poontang. Mainly because like it's just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a prude. That's what it is, guys. It's my Catholic upbringing. Your mother would be proud. What? You kiss your mother with that mouth. What are you doing cussing all the day long? That's not good for you. You'd better stop right away. Saints be praised. So what else we got here? You don't need to be a straight A student to draw. Well, there's that. Yeah. That kind of opens up a whole new sort of topic right there. Is this just like remembering school, like school days? I'll be honest. I'm like if I had one wish, other than saving the white race, it would be something like I would like to live my life over again. I'd like to go back, but with all the knowledge that I have now. You know what I mean? And because I had a very very, very, very idyllic childhood. I had a really, really happy childhood. And I'm extremely nostalgic. I know some people are like, oh, you shouldn't live in the past, something, something. But it's just not, I mean, I'm fine, whatever, okay, but like, for me, I don't know, like this, I just have such great memories, and life was simpler, I was happy, you know. So I was like an average student in school. Other than art, like AP art, but, and music. Did music theory. Believe it or not, I actually competed one year doing like classical opera vocals, like opera vocals. Can you imagine that? At like, how old was I? Ninth grade or something? I don't know. Eighth grade? I don't remember. I really didn't want to do it, but my music teacher made me. She was really something. She's like a very portly Italian woman. She's the music teacher of the school, and uh, I was in chorus like all my life, and very much into that. I come from a musical family. My grandfather conducted big bands. My mom, played in many orchestras throughout my life. Played in the church band, if you will, and it's just a thing. It was like a big part of my life. Um, the lovely lady region. Oh my God, I like that. That's great. Her lovely lady region. That is classy right there. I like that. I'm going to use that. Anyway, getting back to the school thing. So, I could sing well. And then I can remember one year the musicals were coming out, high school musicals. And I really had no interest in being in the musical. I wanted to be in the senior play, and I was like just waiting to become a senior to get in it. I wanted to do acting. This is drying out, can't use that. Anyway, let's see if, where am I going with this? So my music teacher, it was like she took me out in the hall and kind of pushed me up against the wall and got right in my face and was like, "You're gonna be in the musical." And at, geez, I don't know, was it ninth grade? I think 10th grade. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, I just got consigned into it. I got drafted into it. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, there it was crazy amounts of work. It was very, very hard work. Learning to sing and dance and all the lines and the acting and the whole thing. I always had, for some reason, I always got typecast into the villain though. What? Like every year, every musical, and even in the senior play, I was typecast as the villain. Like, why did I get the villain? I wanted so bad to be the hero. Oh, I wanted so bad to be the lead hero. I'm like, oh, dude. I had the acting chops, and I certainly in the musicals I could sing well. What is it about me that they've always made me the bad guy, like the lead villain? What the hell? So one year, what year was it? I don't know, maybe 11th grade. We did Hello Dolly. You guys maybe know Hello Dolly. It's a pretty famous musical film. Uh, what's her face? The Jewish singer actress Streisand was the was Dolly in the film. I forget the actor. It's a real funny guy. Anyway, whatever. So I was Horace Vandergelder, who was that's the main lead, like the guy. He's like sort of a Scroogey old man that Dolly is trying to marry in the story. That's part of what the plot is. Um, and like the story is in a sense how he kind of ends up falling in love and coming around, and finding love in his heart, and something whatever. Um, that was a big role. It was a really really big role, and they like constructed this kind of walkway that went out into the audience and came back into the stage, and it was a very major production. Um, anyway, this is I dig. How about lovely? Oh yeah, well, white guys are the bad guys now, but villains have the best lines. Well, on the villain topic, I remember as a kid when I first saw Star Wars, I was like really conflicted because I was like, oh, Darth Vader's my favorite character. Is there something wrong with me? Like if I'm not supposed to like the bad guy. Is like, is there something? Oh shit, But he was just so freaking cool. He was like way cooler than Luke Skywalker. I guess after that it would be Han Solo. So like the villain and the rogue. Those were the two characters that I love the best. Um, anyway. But yeah, you do have good lines, and you gotta have acting chops if you're gonna be a bad guy too. Like there's some, it's not really like a one dimensional part. Um, Granted, these are high school productions. They're not it's not pro stuff, but I've got the acting bug. Like I really really would like to do some acting. I don't know when or how I would get into that. But it's it's to be in my bonnet. Maybe hopefully someday some opportunity will come around. In the meantime, I will draw. And make my little films on paper. Oh, but I mean, part of it is just like I love film so much. There's just been so many movies that have had like a massive impact on me. Um, as a medium, it's extremely powerful. Um, it's amazing when you see a film and like you can't talk for like an hour or two afterwards because you're just so completely like blown away by it. I was like that after The Last Temptation of Christ, Martin Scorsese film, and Blade Runner, the first one. I love the second one. That also, I would say. Oh my God, I am on. Holy shit, I gotta check. I'm on a show tonight. This guy named Dirty D that has a show. I gotta check my messages. Hang tight. Hang tight. We're doing a movie show, and it's just dudes hanging out, commentary on a movie. It's like a fun stream. But I don't know when it is. Hold on, I gotta check my messages. Come on. No, he hasn't gotten back to me. So anyway, Radio Ruin on what's it called on Odyssey. Radio Ruin. So if you look up Radio Ruin on Odyssey, this guy goes by the name Dirty D. and he does a show on Ukraine with my buddy CG. That's like a weekly show for sure. I don't know how many shows they do a week, but they do deep dives on the war in Ukraine. Radio Ruin is more like Dirty D's channel that he has, like, he does that, and then he does this movie show. Um, Movie shows just more for fun, though. Like I say, it's just dudes hanging out. He suggested that we watch. I forget the name. I think it's called The Rothschilds. It's like a movie from like the 1930s or something, and like the Jews had this idea that we should make a movie about how we're persecuted and how we have to be so smart to get around all the issues of being a minority in Germany and Russia and this and that. And in the movie, it turns out that they pretty much show like the shit that they do, you know, and it backfired. Like the purpose of the movie was to try to gain sympathy for being, Jews, and but in the end, it actually was the opposite. Like it was like, here are our methods of how we work around the laws and how we cheat the system and how we think of other people, how we think of the host nations that we're living in. And so I was like, I know the film. I haven't watched the whole thing. It was like made in like the 1930s or something. It's black and white. It's very, very dry. And I'm like, that's really not going to be a fun movie to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like the audience is going to be like, hang out for a little while and then leave. You know what I mean? And I really want to do something that's plus like how much how much time can you talk about the Jews? Like, can we just do something fun? Like, I already do that like a lot. So like I just sort of want to not do that for 10 minutes. So that would be nice. Am I bad? Am I a bad person? Anyway. Do. We had one mestizo, but he never showed, and the teacher was begging, pathetic. I'm not sure I understand what you're referring to. A mestizo, and where and when? Like, what? Where was? I'm not sure. Oh, you're talking about a class that you were in or something? I don't know. I struggled with math a lot. I hated math, but check this out. So, like, I wasn't good at math to begin with, but in 8th grade, I had this one teacher. Also, I don't know about you guys, but like, are most math teachers like total assholes or bitches? I mean, because I almost all of them, not all of them, but almost all of my math teachers were like just shitty, creepy, mean people. Like just mean people. One I'll never forget that my math teacher in 8th grade, her method was, you in the beginning of class, she'd go around and say, like say okay, let's say on the homework you had, 15 questions, and she'd point out students who were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, da da da, and whatever the number was, you had to go up to the board and then write the math equation on the board, and then she would go over it with the class, like, okay, whatever, and then if you didn't get it right, you had to stand up in front of the class until you got it right. So try to imagine you're not good at math, you're having trouble, you don't understand how to do it well, so you got the homework wrong, but you're made to stand up in front of the fucking class, like almost throughout the whole fucking class, because you can't, and to like figure it out. That's cruel. That is so cruel. And I wasn't the only one, that had to go through that. There were, other kids that went through that. But like, imagine just the fear of having to go to class thinking like I might be standing up there for 45 minutes like a fool while she's looking down on you and like insulting you. Oh, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. You can't do this. And da da da. You could tell she hated her job. Like she just was extremely like, about like every day. Everything was, And wow, holy shit. So like, did that impact my like my ability to do math? Yeah, I would say so. Fuck. Like teachers like that. Jesus, man, they should not. You know, they shouldn't be allowed to be in a school. It's awful. Um. Anyway, pretty mean. We had one mistake. Math and humiliation is wonderful. Is a wonderful tactic. Yeah, just that's such shit. Like gosh. Yeah, if you're miserable, stay out of the teaching profession, please. Okay, because you're like ruining young people. You know what I mean? Oh boy, oh boy. What are you gonna do? So what else can I tell you? Um, yeah, I just had really good friends. Um, wasn't really good at sports. I'm an artist. I'm like arts and music. Like I excelled at that. I was known. Oh, here's a good story. This should be kind of fun. So, and I don't know what it is about eighth grade, but like eighth grade was a very major kind of coming of age time for me, I guess. So my school had a what do you call it? Talent contest, talent show. And this was the time when I was just starting to learn bass guitar. My two best buddies on the block, the one was already a drummer. He'd been playing in like his brother's band for some time. Da da da. And then like one day I go over to hang out with these guys, and the other friend bought an electric guitar, and they're in the basement jamming, and I'm like, I need to get a bass guitar because like I need to round this out. You know what I mean? Like I want to be a part of what these guys are doing. And so that's how I got into bass guitar. But anyway, you're in eighth grade, like we're just starting out. We're not good, like we're really not good. But somehow or other, we were able to pull off like a sort of an abbreviated version of "Sweet Home Alabama" at the talent show, and which is really three chords, "Sweet Home Alabama." D D C G, and there's over and over. We didn't do a guitar solo, or there wasn't a piano. There weren't background singers. It wasn't anything like that. Um, but it was my first time on stage, and oh, you can't even imagine how nervous I was. Like all day long, I had the lyrics in my pocket, and I'm reading it over and over and over and over so I don't forget it. And finally our time comes, and you got the whole school in the not the cafeteria, the auditorium, and the curtain opens, and then like all the girls started screaming and jumping up and running towards the stage, and dun 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 dun, boom, we head right into it. Sweet home Alabama. Everyone's screaming and jumping, and I'm like, I didn't expect people to behave that way at all. I just thought they would just sit still and clap when we were done, and then close the curtain. Next act. I didn't, but for whatever reason, like I don't know, it just was. It was like, in my little eighth grade world, it was like an experience of being a rock star. Holy cow, I was high as a bird. I was high as a kite after that. I'm like, this is my goal in life. I want to be a rock star. So, pretty funny stories. I feel like I'm going way, way too long with this stream, though. Let's have a look at the chat. As for school, when you need great numbers, you're gonna attract people who shouldn't be there. There are too many students. Oaf says that's great. Math requires aptitude. I've got attitude. Those not wired for it suffer. Yeah, I mean it's not a good thing to not be good at math. That's not helpful in life. So anyway, I wish you guys well. I feel like this is really, really 145, 160, 146 minutes. It's a bit too much. So anyway, I love you guys. Have yourself a great evening, day, night, morning, whatever you got. Keep on rocking in the free world, and we'll see you next time on Donald.